Welcome back to the channel, and today we're diving into something truly special, a legend in the world of racing and engineering brilliance, the Honda RC166 Now, this isn't your typical bike you see on the road. This is a machine that made history on the race tracks in the 1960s, a symbol of innovation, precision, and raw performance. It's not just a motorcycle, it's an experience, a symphony on wheels, and we're here to break it down for you in every detail. So let's get into it. First up, that unmistakable look. The RC166 is iconic the moment you lay eyes on it. Its slender profile and narrow fairing reflect the racing DNA it was built with. The bodywork is minimalistic yet perfectly aerodynamic, designed to cut through the air at high speeds. The polished aluminum tank, the exposed mechanicals, and that classic racing paint scheme with Honda's red and silver finish, it all screams vintage Grand Prix style. This isn't about flashy design elements or over-the-top modern touches. It's raw, purposeful, and absolutely beautiful in its simplicity. It sits low, and the tight bodywork wraps closely around the chassis, giving it that lean, aggressive posture. The 6 exhaust pipes poking out from the side are not just visually stunning, they're an engineering marvel, and a hint of the beast that lies within. Moving in closer, you start to appreciate the craftsmanship. Every bolt, every line, and every weld on the RC166 has a function. The bike was hand-built for precision and speed, not mass production. There's a kind of elegance in its mechanical honesty. No plastic, no fluff, just aluminum, steel, and racing pedigree. Even the seat is minimalist, a small, leather-covered pad that sits on a narrow tail section. It's not built for comfort. It's built for control, for speed, and for connecting the rider directly with the machine. Now let's talk about what's under that beautifully sculpted shell. This is where the RC166 truly separates itself from almost any other bike in history. Powering it is a 250cc, DOHC, inline 6-cylinder engine. Yeah, you heard that right, 6 cylinders packed into just 250cc. It's an absurdly compact and complex engine, but it's also a work of art. Revving all the way up to an ear-splitting 18,000 RPM, the sound this engine produces is unlike anything else. It's a high-pitched scream that can only be compared to an F1 car from the same era. And that sound isn't just for show, it means business. This engine delivered about 60 horsepower back in its prime, which might not sound like much today, but remember, this bike weighs just around 112 kg. That power-to-weight ratio gave it an edge on the track, allowing it to dominate in the 250cc class. It's got a 7-speed gearbox, giving the rider precise control over the power delivery. Shifting through those gears at high revs is like playing a finely tuned instrument. Every gear change, every throttle input is sharp and immediate. Handling-wise, the RC166 was ahead of its time. The frame was a tubular steel construction that offered both lightness and rigidity. The suspension setup was basic by today's standards, telescopic forks at the front and twin shocks at the rear, but it was tuned for racing and high-speed cornering. The drum brakes, both front and rear, were massive and powerful for their time, giving riders the confidence to brake late into corners. On the racetrack, this thing was untouchable in the hands of a skilled rider like Hailwood, who famously dominated the 250cc World Championship with it in 1966. One thing to keep in mind though, this isn't a bike you'd hop on for a casual Sunday ride. It's twitchy, it demands attention, and it rewards precision. Every movement counts. There's no abs, no traction control, and certainly no riding modes. It's just you, the engine, and the open road, or ideally, the track. Now when we talk about price, things get really interesting. The RC166 is not a production bike. It was built strictly for racing, and only a handful of them were ever made. That makes them incredibly rare and valuable. You can't walk into a dealership and buy one. These bikes are collector's items now, and if one ever goes up for auction, you're looking at prices north of $500,000, sometimes even higher depending on the condition and history. And honestly, it's worth every penny. This isn't just a motorcycle, it's a piece of racing history, an engineering milestone, and a tribute to what Honda was capable of even back in the 60s. For most people, the RC166 will remain a dream, something to admire from afar in museums or classic racing events. But even getting close to one is an unforgettable experience. It's not about top speed or spec sheets, it's about the story, the legacy, and the feeling it gives you. That's all for today's review. If you love legendary machines like the RC166, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what other classic bikes or cars you want to see next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.